been a couple of months since I bought this camera, the Leica Monochrome, the Leica M Type 246, and in this episode I'm gonna share with you some of the experiences I had and some of the learnings shooting with a purely monochrome camera. If you're thinking of buying this camera, maybe this is useful for you, and if you're already shooting on monochrome cameras from Leica, let me know in the comments below what your experiences are. First thing that I really noticed, and this is for anybody who buys a Leica M camera, is the rangefinder experience. It's fundamentally different from any of the other experiences I had, your typical digital camera. First of all, you have to get used to the rangefinder patch. You have to align. You see these two little things here, the rangefinder and the alignment, and you do so by manually focusing. So this is one of the things I really have to get used to, because it does take a bit of time before you get really the hang of it. And there is also the zone focusing part, is where you put the distance scale on your lens to a certain part, you put in your aperture, and from there on you just start shooting, which is a very fundamentally different way of shooting. It's fun though, but it does take a bit of practice, I have to admit. Now the second thing is really getting the exposure right. So shooting with a M camera means you don't have an EVF, you only have an optical rangefinder, so you don't see any of the, you see the colors as it is, and when you're shooting in black and white, it really becomes about looking at a scene, highlights, shadows, or the shy lights as I like to call them, and then your composition. And this takes quite a bit of time before I really got used to it. There is also the part of shooting with very high ISOs. Monochrome cameras, this particular model can go up to 25,000 ISO. I've shot a few times with it, but it's definitely the fact that you don't see electronically what you're doing. So that's kind of the analog experience. You do have the highlights, shadows, and then obviously your scene and composition, and then ISO handling with low light. And of course, most people have always said you have to underexpose with Leica cameras. That depends a bit on, in my experience with this monochrome, it depends. If I shoot with spot metering, yeah, you have to occasionally underexpose, but in general, if you shoot center weight, or there's no real issues with it. So that was a big learning for me. I'm still mastering it, still not perfect, and let me know in the comments below how you expose. Now the third thing I learned is coming from Fuji or from the Lumix S9. I shoot a lot of JPEGs, and what I found out with this particular camera, shooting a monochrome, JPEG for me didn't work. Maybe on the newer models, so if you're shooting on an M10 or an M11, let me know in the comments below. But I quickly changed to DNG or RAW shooting. Simply put, yeah, these pictures just need editing. In the highlights, the shadows, you can retrieve a lot of data. So for me, it really didn't make any sense to shoot JPEGs. It took me a few hundred shots to find that out, but then in editing, I had to spend so much time that I just thought to myself, this doesn't make any sense. Let's just RAW it. The fourth thing I really learned is that this camera itself comes in about 700 grams. So your choice of lens is kind of important. Yeah, as you can shoot here, I'm shooting on the Voigtlander 1.4 Noctum, which is a relatively light lens, about 250 grams. But I also shoot with the Micaton, I always get that wrong, 90 millimeters, which is a huge heavy lens. And then walking with a heavy lens, with the actual heavy body the entire day, I wouldn't recommend it. If you have any tips for a replacement for the 90 Micaton, let me know in the comments below, because I'm really looking for something of half the weight and preferably not 3 times the price. That's one of the things here, but I really notice if you walk around the entire afternoon, however good that lens is, the Micaton, the great pictures you can get with it, it's just too much. It feels like a exercise in fitness. Number 5, a handful. One thing I've noticed is when you're shooting for longer periods with the rangefinder, I did get a bit of eye stress at a certain stage. Eye strain, eye stress, whatever you call it. So I started looking into it, and I really bought a diopter, which is basically a little bit of glass you screw on. I think it's a +1. I bought this used on the used market, and this really helps with dealing with the eye strain. It's a lot easier now, a lot more comfortable. So if you have, like me, aging eyes, that will be a good thing to buy. Number 7 is, yes, you've probably seen it, filters for on your thing. And I have the yellow here and also the red. Yellow for the skin tones, red for the contrast. And that really is just a little bit of a difference, but it is subtle and it does make a difference. So shooting without these filters is not that I'm suddenly feeling naked or something, but with the filters you just get a specific look. So that's something very useful. Let me know in the comments below which filters you're using. And last but not least, the one thing that I did learn, it's a niche camera and a niche way of shooting. If you're into black and white photography and you have a normal digital camera, I would always say keep it. You can still shoot manual there as well with manual lenses. Not the same experience as on a Leica, but it will save you a pretty bob. If you're somebody like me who enjoys cameras with very specific features or who is really crazy into black and white, this camera might be for you. Mind you though, it still will cost you a pretty penny. It's built like a brick. It's not light at all. The experience is unmatched in my opinion. Not even the Fujifilms with their different ways of manual focusing, there's a tutorial here, can match this experience. But it is very niche, and you know, I bought this for 2,700 I think it was. Now the diopter was 85, the lens was about 400 Us, the Monochrom was also 500 Us. You get me, it stacks up, right? So you can do a lot in JPEGs on your own camera, but if you really want that analog versus modern world, slow-paced photography where it's more about craft and skill, then I would definitely recommend it. That's it for today.